Aloha kakahiaka. This is Aloha Friday. This is Laura or Kawaile Hua, Kumu Kawaile Hua with Hulu Arts. My last video was on mutant versus ringneck pheasants, and it seemed to be very popular. It seems as though folks really want to hear about pelts. My Hulu Ohana tries to make most of our lei using skins or pelts from birds that are ethically sourced. But you really have to have an understanding of using pelts. It's a more advanced to be able to know how to use the feathers correctly. This is a peacock pelt, and yes, it was ethically sourced. Peacock pelts are very, very expensive. Folks always want to know why the lei made from peacock are so expensive. Well, first of all, the pelt itself is very expensive. And then they take hours. There's hours and hours of plucking and prepping the feathers, sorting the feathers, designing your lei, and then each feather is sewn on the lei one stitch at a time. So I have a finished lei here made from the blues and the golds, which I'll explain to you. And each, I don't know how well you can see this, I'm hoping you can see, but each feather is stitched on one feather at a time. Each feather has about 5 stitches. And there are about 5 to 6 feathers, sometimes 8 to 10 feathers per row. And the rows can be anywhere from 1/16 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch apart, depending on the type of feather you use. So let's talk about these feathers. So this is my peacock skin. It's rather large. As you can, peacocks are big birds, big noisy birds, but they have some of the most beautiful feathers. And even though some of them look the same, just like with the pheasants, there's a transition from these neck feathers, neck blues, to these other blues, and then you have these mixed blue and greens, and then it becomes green down here. And the texture of the feathers are also different, so you don't tend to use them in the same area. You can mix the blues with the greens and it'll give a real pretty color, which is what I did actually with this one. I mixed a little bit of greens with the blues, so you can see there, I'm hoping you can see, there are some little green highlights in this lei. Makes it a little more interesting. So we'll start with the neck feathers. The neck feathers are very small and they're very soft. So I'm gonna try to use a paper so you can see. They're very, very soft and pliable. So you can use these with the other blue feathers that we'll go over. But what I like to use these in is with a kamoi style, which is a flat style of lei. And I have that on my hatband here. And you can see, I think you can see, this is a kamoi style. So they're laid on a base and V-lead or wrapped one feather at a time. So this took 6 pheasants because, peacocks are a type of pheasant. This took 6 pelts because I only used the feathers in this part of the peacock because these are soft enough. If you go a little bit further down from here, the feather texture changes and they become more stiff. So I will show you those. And you can see they're a little more stiff and splayed. They're bigger than these other ones that are really soft and pliable. They look similar, but their texture is different if you could touch them. And then if you go further down, then we have these that have a little more green, and they're even more stiff. And you'll see these. You can see they're a little stiffer. They still look the same, so you can use them in the same area in the lei, but they are stiffer. Then after that, you'll see we have these green feathers. these green feathers are much more translucent and much stiffer. These make a beautiful lei, so you can see the comparison. These make a beautiful lei, but since they are so translucent, they look much better if you make a base. So it's almost like 2 lei in one. You make your lei with a solid goose, like I will usually use black as my base, and then I make another lei with this over it. So it gives us this nice pu'u, a nice bump, a nice mound, and then the green comes out from the black. Of course, the most popular feathers on a peacock are these gold pennies. You see these gold pennies? And they can be anywhere from blue-green, like these are kind of gray-blue, blue-green. They can get very gold, and as you move them around, they catch the light differently. And so you can use them as accents, like I used them as an accent on this lei here. Or my most popular lei is this fish scale pattern using all the gold pennies. And it takes more than one peacock pelt to make these. Or you can use them Hulu style, which means you can use them as a little border. So there's a whole border of gold pennies on this. And then this is the blue peacock. And then I use some pauku, some accents with the gold pennies. And this is golden pheasant. Golden pheasant is another type of pheasant. It's very, very thin and eyelashy. So I had to put a layer of gold goose underneath that so that it would be smooth, because we want our hat bands to be smooth. These little zebra ones, these zebra feathers are real fun, and they can be used for other things. I'm collecting them now to make a poi poi out of that. So anyway, here we go. Peacock pelts and the type of lei you can make with it. I make other things. I've been starting to make, people are always asking me for earrings, so I've started making some little earrings from the peacock and stuff. So we'll see where I go with that. Anyway, please, if you have any questions, please ask me. If you have any comments, I'd love to hear comments. If I can improve this in any way, if this is helpful, I'd love to hear from you. You can see my work at nahuluarts.com. You can email me at nahuluarts@gmail.com. Aloha and have a wonderful day.